All right, ladies and gentlemen, a big welcome inside the Erickson Center for what we expect to be a huge match tonight in the Upper Midwest Athletic Conference, a battle of giants in the conference. The host school, the University of Northwestern, and your University of Minnesota Morris Cougars set to do battle here in Roseville. We expect a packed house, and we expect an exciting game from these two squads as the teams are out on the floor getting ready. I am watching the internet here. It is not fantastic as it has been in the past. So we hope that things hang in there tonight because we are thrilled here on the Spoley Brock Sports Network, SBSN 08 The Ocho, to bring you what we expect to be an exciting match here tonight. So experimenting with a few things, made some more adjustments on our soundboard to try to have a little better balance between things. We're going to see how that works out. Hopefully you do hear a little bit of the court noise there. I have a mic right in front of me that's pointed at the floor to get you some sounds of the game. And yet, unlike last year when we were screaming in our own ears here to make things work, hopefully we don't have to do that tonight. I see red bars. That is not a good sign. And certainly looking for some feedback here from people. Okay, well, we're getting a thumbs up. At least the audio is going to be coming through. I expect that the camera is going to kind of go up and down here, and hopefully it hangs in there tonight. But we do have audio. We're getting the thumbs up. So far, so good. All right, a little background on these teams. We've got about 10 minutes to go here before the start of the match. And we were hoping to interview the coaches, but I think I'm going to give up on that. They both look like they're set in their pre-game rituals here, so we're not going to interfere with that tonight. But we are going to go over a couple of things here. We'll first talk about Northwestern. Of course, a perennial power in the UMAC. They had not lost a match in the conference since 2018, so we'll talk a little bit about that. Their record overall, 19-8, and they are 10-2 in the conference. Notable wins for the Eagles. They won at WashU in St. Louis, at Stevens Point in Wisconsin. We'll talk about those WIAC schools here in a little bit. And at Gustavus, or at least they were playing Gustavus. I guess I should not say if that game was here or in St. Peter. So some good wins amongst others. They always play a tough national schedule and often have a fantastic record, move deep into the tournament. Notable losses for the Eagles. They did lose their first conference match here just a couple of weeks ago up in Superior to UW Superior. The Yellow Jackets taking them down in 5 sets. And also another notable loss for the Eagles. They did lose to St. Ben's, the Bennies, in St. Joseph, I would say about 3 weeks ago. So their rankings, they are currently 22nd in the ABCA poll, and then in the NPI, which is kind of a measure of the strength of schedule, they are 45. And according to that poll, there's 418 Division III volleyball programs. The Cougars come in with a 15-9 record. 15-9, 10-2 in the conference. And their notable wins, UWS last weekend in Morris, the huge match, the come from behind, the reverse sweep for the Cougars as they come back to take down the Yellow Jackets in Morris. Just a fantastic match to be a part of and to watch. Of course, that reverse sweep is always exciting to see. And notable losses, again, Superior in their house up north. The Cougars did not do well, and they were swept by Superior. So as the team's coming out on the floor here, Cougars going through their warm-ups. That's a little bit about both of these teams. The Cougars' current ranking, they are not ranked in the ABCA poll, but in the NPI, they call us 181 out of 418. So those are a little bit about the teams. I do want to talk a little bit more about the teams that are rated in the WIAC. And a lot of both of these teams play WIAC schools, and I think several of the Minnesota schools also in their preseason, pre-conference tournaments will go and play some of these WIAC schools. They have 5 teams in the top 25. 5, which is really quite amazing when you think about it. As far as the top teams, Juniata still number 1. They've been number 1 all year as far as I know. Hope, John Hopkins, MIT, and Emory round out the top 5. But Oshkosh, Whitewater, Platteville, Eau Claire, and Stevens Point all in the top 25 that are WIAC schools. So pretty good representation for those squads in that top ranking for whatever you think ratings are worth. We're just excited to be here. We got a great vantage point here at the Erickson Center. We're up in the mezzanine, and they're going to have a good crowd here. The students starting to roll in here. We are looking for Tor and his hammer. Have not seen them come onto the court yet. The last couple of years, they've had a couple of enthusiastic student supporters with a giant inflatable hammer that you can imagine they swing every time they get a kill. So we're hoping that that hammer does not, well, number 1, that it doesn't even show up, and number 2, that they don't swing it very often tonight. So, of course, the Cougs playing Northwestern in Morris just a couple of weeks ago. I guess maybe it's 3 now. And we took a set off them out there, so that's something that hasn't happened in a little while. And I got to believe with that reverse sweep that the Cougs were able to pull over Superior, that their confidence level might be pretty high coming into this match. Some of it is just overcoming the reputation of this squad and playing in their house. A couple of challenging things, but yeah, that's the way it is in sports. You get to host some games, and some you got to go on the road. And the Cougs have that opportunity in front of them tonight here. We are in Roseville, right up at the border with Arden Hills here on the shores of Lake Johanna. Beautiful campus here. If you have ever been to Northwestern, highly recommend that you make the trip up here and check it out. A great place to watch a game, and you know you're going to see some high-level volleyball. We are 3 minutes and 28 seconds away from at least the starting lineups, the national anthem. So we're going to step away for a moment here. And I think most of you that are listening probably know my number. If you want to text something in, ask a question. Again, we were hoping to get coach interviews, but I'm going to dispense with that. And you can kind of imagine what they would have said. So we'll be back with you here in just a few moments. You're listening to a special presentation of University of Minnesota Morris Cougar Volleyball here on the Spoley Brock Sports Network, SBSN 08 The Ocho. All right, folks, we're back with you here. I'm hoping to let this field mic catch the starting lineups. We've got that kind of set right below us here, aimed down at the floor. Last year I put it on their scoring bench, and I don't know how that wasn't too popular with them, I don't think, but we heard a few things that R2 was saying over there, that's for sure. I did not ask to do that tonight. So here you go. Welcome to the Erickson Center, home of your University of Northwestern Eagles. Tonight, we will take on the University of Minnesota's Cougars. Fans, at this time, we ask that you please rise in your beds for tonight's pregame prayer, followed by the playing of our national anthem. Dear Lord, we thank you for blessing us with another day, for the opportunity to play and watch volleyball. Thank you for bringing Morris here safely. We ask that you watch over this game, keep all the players safe from injury, and give the coaches and officials wisdom in their decision making. Help us to glorify you through all the actions on and off the court tonight. In your name we pray. Amen. And now let's meet tonight's lineup, starting first with the reserves of the Cougars. Number 1, Allison Dornsight. Number 2, Ava Braun. Number 4, Olivia Clark-Burnett. Number 7, Clara Holden. Number 8, Rocky Massine Baden. Number 10, Jayla Gu. Number 11, Macy Boza. Number 13, Braxton Meyer. Number 14, Avery Warner. Number 15, Ella Johnson. And number 18, Anna Holstead. The starters for the Cougars, set outside hitter from Victoria, number 3, Mary Kate Zembeck. And down the other side hitter, a senior from Northfield, number 5, Laura Wellrock. At middle blocker, a senior from Milwaukee, number 6, Madeline Monaco. At libero, a senior from Milwaukee, number 9, Melanie Monaco. On the right side, a junior from Barnum, number 12, Lacey O'Leary. At middle blocker, a sophomore from Edgewood, New Mexico, number 19, Tori Shaler. And at center, a senior from Vinyl Lakes, number 21, Sydney Peterson. Head coach of the folks, that's the starting lineups for the Eagles and the Cougars. Northwestern always does a little added, everybody does a little dance or a little move over there when they introduce their name, some kind of back out, some kind of little cheer that they do. So we are experimenting with some things with the field mic. So I will take some feedback on that if you don't care for what I'm doing with it. We're changing it so that I don't have to scream to get over the top of it. I'm going to see how that works tonight. And, well, we'll go from there. But we're ready to go here. Again, live from the Erickson Center in Roseville, Minnesota. It's the Eagles and the Cougars. Let's play volleyball. Glad to have you with us tonight here. A special presentation of the Foley Brock Sports Network, SBSN 08, The Oak Show. First serve is going to be put into the air by the Eagles, and that is Abby Glanzer, the Brandon, South Dakota native, will put the ball into play here. Melanie Monaco there to pick this one up. Peterson goes over the left side, and that is Zembeck with an attack, but does not make it over the net. Point for the Eagles, and they are on the board first here as Glanzer will continue from the stripe. The right-hander sends it over again to Monaco. The back set here in the slide. First time we've seen that from Monaco there. That's a nice play that I think we're going to have to run several times tonight, and I think that Superior was successful using that against the Eagles, so we'll see how that pans out here as Zembeck puts the ball just long out of the 5 zone. Going to bring Michaela Wilbur, Coon Rapids native, to the stripe for the Eagles. The right-hander sends it not over. It catches the top of the tape. Apparently they did not work on their serving for the last 12 and a half seconds of every practice, as that one does not get over. And that's going to bring Mads Monaco to the stripe here, and a good serve there. Glanzer has to fall on her back to get that one, but the set over to Ari Schmidt for the kill. And that was a no-doubt swing for Schmidt. Going to bring Addison Jenigas to the line. The right-hander sends it over again to Melanie Monaco, over to Wellbrock on the left pin, off of Glanzer in the back row. Dukes says got a couple of substitutions coming in. Clara Holden coming in to serve for the Cougars. And Anna Molstead also in the front row for Norris. Good serve, just skims the top of the tape. Eggy there to pick this one up. She's going to swap this over. Opportunity for the Cougs here. Quick set to Wellbrock. Kind of a mid-range set there in the gap. If they pick it up, it's a big, high, towering free ball here. Holden goes back set, but Molstead goes down the line. Wilbur there to pick this one up. Ani there sends it over. Cougs will reload. Try it again. Zembeck there, pushed over by Shaler, and Wilbur had fallen down, unable to get up. Point Cougs. Continues at the stripe here, back to Glanzer. Then go over to the left side here, and the swing from Eggy is called out by one line judge, in by another, and it is from R1 confirmed to be out. Point Cougs. Holden will continue at the stripe, and I am way off on the score. We'll get that going for you here. A lot of things happening in the broadcast booth. It is 6-3 Cougars here. We're going to get this lined up for you. Here we go. See if I can keep track of that. That could be a challenge. Holden at the stripe sends it over. Wilbur's there to pick this one up. Jenigas going to send this over. And again, kind of a free ball. Wellbrock has to get this one. Northwestern reloads here from the right side. And that is Anna Olson. And that ball also long. Cougs' early lead here in set one, 7-3. Holden off the tape. We worked on the last 12 and a half seconds. Eggy sends this over. Block gets a piece of it. Wellbrock's there. Pushed over by Ani. Then the Eagles break a nice service run there for Clara Holden. Hannah Rich in for the Eagles to serve. Picked up by Melanie Monaco. Pushed all the way over to Wellbrock, looking for hands. Doesn't find any there. Glanzer with a big swing, but a nice dig there for Zembeck. Back over to Wellbrock on the left side. Off Glanzer. Ball is out. Point Cougars. Wellbrock at the service drive. The senior out of Northfield sends this cross court into the one. Quick set to, and she does connect on that for the kill. Miranda Wyatt into the match for the Eagles. 8-5 in favor of the Cougars. Ani back to serve, wearing number 23. Melanie Monaco there again. The back set punched over. Well done, Anna Molstead with the kill. Back up 9-5. First set if you're just joining us. Melanie Monaco at the stripe wearing the white libero jersey. Sends it over to her counterpart, Wilbur. Over to the right side. That's Anna Olson with the left side. Left-handed attack. Pushed up over the block by Zembeck. Wellbrock there. Quick into the gap and down for Madeline Monaco. Her sister Melanie will continue at the stripe here. Right-hander sends it over again. Wilbur has trouble covering this, and that is an ace for Melanie Monaco. And that's going to be a timeout for the Eagles as they are down by a score of 11-5 here early in the first set. Well, we're almost halfway through the set, so hopefully you're enjoying the coverage here. We're just going to step away for a second during this timeout. We appreciate you joining us. You're listening to University of Minnesota Morris Cougar Volleyball on the Foley Brock Sports Network, SBS NOA, the Ocho. Back out of timeout here. Getting some good feedback, so I think we're okay. I know the internet is bouncing around, so I'm guessing you maybe don't see the best picture all the time, but we're going to do the best we can with that. Not going to move that camera around too much tonight. Lots to keep track of here. Melanie Monaco continues at the stripe. Wilbur has trouble with this one. Glanzer's going to have to send it over. Hoops get an opportunity here. What are they going to do with this? Zembeck pushes it back over. Right side attack. Olsen up. I think we're going to bring this one back. Wellbrock and Monaco teaming up as Holden sends it over. Picked up here quickly over the left side. Glanzer up over the block. Mads is there to pick this one up. Wilbur. Back set. Olsen off the block. Wellbrock. Holden. Over to Molstead. Drops this one short. Eagles pick it up, but that's an attack here for Miranda Wyatt out of the middle. They were trying a quick middle set there. Unsuccessful for the Eagles. Oh, and a great serve for Melanie there. And this one returned out to our right for the Eagles as they try to regroup here. 13-5 Morris the first set. Melanie Monaco continues at the stripe. Wilbur again is the target. Over to Olsen, and that is called out. Point Cougs. 14 serving 5 for Monaco, and a second timeout called by Coach Beth Wilmeth of the Northwestern Eagles. And we did talk about how they have a few dents in the Eagle armor this year, having taken a couple of losses, which is extremely unexpected, essentially, and especially in the conference with that loss at Superior. And the Cougars taking a set off of them, and of course also mentioned that St. Ben's win up in St. Joseph. That was a 5-setter as well, and a fantastic match. From what I understand from my broadcasting counterpart, Mr. Mike Spolodoro, the 7-time All-American, who is his daughter also a senior this year, and they are their senior night tomorrow night as they take on the Olies of College. Cougars breaking the huddle early here, of course, when it's not your timeout and you're not the one trying to figure out what's going on, you're pretty quick back out of that huddle, and the Cougs doing exactly that as we see the Eagles come back on the floor here. And a couple of great service runs here. Clara Holden having a great run, and now Melanie Monaco. I see her dad on the other side, directly opposite from us, taking some photos tonight, so that's nice to see. Melanie sends this one over again. Wilbur, the target, pushed over to the left side. Glanzer high in the air, but a great dig there on the overpass. They will set up the Eagles, and they're going to go back to Glanzer, who turns this one down the line. Point Eagles. Cougars still enjoying an 8-point lead here. Delbrock there to get this one. Pushed over to Molstad. Works off the block. It was in either way, but she had tooled the block there nicely. Swung down the line by Anna Molstad. New Prague High School, Elko Newmarket area. 15 serving 6 for Sydney Peterson. A good serve here, picked up by Glanzer. A couple of Eagles almost running together. They're sent over by Schmidt. Cougars set up Zembeck with a little bit of a delay there, but the Eagles do pick this one up. Over to Glanzer, through the block. Well brought there to pick it up. And sent over the on two by Peterson. Left-handed, swung over by Glanzer. That's Lacey O'Leary into the match here for the Cougars. Gets her first swing at the ball. Zembeck down. Not quite. Cougars, I'm sorry, the Eagles bring that one up, but it's swung long. Point Morris. 16 serving 6 here. We are in set number 1. And the Cougars off to a fantastic start here. As Peterson continues at the stripe, the right-hander sends it over. Wilbur there to pick this one up. And a big swing there for Miranda Wyatt, the Manhattan, Montana native. Gets that one through the block, and that's going to bring Abby Glanzer to the stripe. 7 serving 16. Brandon, South Dakota native, puts it over. Well brought there to pick this one up. Peterson sends this quick over to the left side. Mary Kate Zembeck with the kill. Zembeck at the stripe. Right-hander sends this over. And trouble, miscommunication there for the Eagles between Wyatt and Schmidt. And they both watched that ball drop right between them to the floor. And that is a migraine headache for volleyball coaches when that happens. Zembeck sends this over. Wilbur again gets there to pick this one up. And a big swing for Anna Eggy. She is out of Rapid City, South Dakota. Eight serving 18. Trying to catch up with the score for you here. Lots of things going on. And that is a point for the Eagles as they get that one to drop into the campfire. Great crowd on hand. They filled in. We've loosely full around the upper ring and a lot of folks in the bleachers here. Wellbrock there to pick up the serve. The back set over to O'Leary with a nice swing. Strickfaden there to get it. Wilbur over to Schmidt. Drops it over, but Melanie right there to get this one. Lacey O'Leary just long, looking for a spot there in the 5. Great location through the block. Unfortunately, a couple of feet long. 10 serving 18 for Michaela Wilbur. Stenbeck pushed all the way over to Wellbrock through the block and off of Glanzer and down. Point Cougs. 19-10 here for the Morris Cougars. Oh, and a nice serve over there from Mads Monaco. Big swing though for Ari Schmidt, the Albany native. I think I saw Albany is in the state tournament. I'm not sure how they have fared over the first couple of days of play here, but I'm quite sure that they are in the tournament. As Addison Jenigas at the stripe. Cougars a little trouble handling this one, but they're going to get this over. O'Leary sends it over. And a big swing there for Marley Awney. Eagles creeping back into this. 12-19. Reminds me of the Gopher game last night. Gophers with a big lead, and Washington ending up winning that. But O'Leary here puts this down and gets the Cougs first to 20 into the red zone. The Dan Stein Alligator Varmint. And we're happy about Dan Stein, and his continued support. We'll talk a little bit more about that later. As Clara Holden with the serve gets back over, and a nice swing there from the Eagles. Goes off the Cougar defense. 13 serving 20 here for Hannah Rich for Northwestern. Veldrock there to pick this one up. Holden sends it back to Laura. Up over the block. Wilbur's there. Oh, and a big swing from Anna Olson is sent back by the Cougar block party. And that is 21-13 here. Cougars firmly in the red zone, the Dan Stein red zone. Of volleyball, anything over 20 points, and that's what we're going to call that. In the middle, and the connection not made there with Awney and Jenigas. We'll try that again, this time over to Glanzer. Wow, what a swing for Abby Glanzer. Down the line, turn that hand. That was an impressive swing to watch. Northwestern hanging in there. 14 serving 21 for Marley Awney. And the right-hander sends this over, picked up here by Zembeck. Quickly, that gap set, but this is sent back by Miranda Wyatt. It would not surprise me to see a timeout here for Coach Susan Guth and not let this get any closer, as it is 15 serving 21 here for Awney. She is out of New Brighton, so just up the road from where we are. Here's Zembeck there to pick this one up. Holden goes back to Mary Kay. Eagle block and down. Cougs closing in on a set 1 victory here in the Erickson Center. Melanie Monaco at the stripe here for the Cougars. Right-hander from Milwaukee sends over a good serve. They have a little trouble with it, and that's not able to be placed around the antenna. I know I'm trying to say Anna Olson hits the antenna. That is out. That's point Cougs. 23 serving 15 from Melanie Monaco. Right-hander sends it over. Wilbur steps out of the way at the last second. Wisely so, as it was just long out of the 1. You're going to see Strickfaden come back in. Ari Schmidt back into the match. And Northwestern still hanging in there with a 7-point deficit here. 16 serving 23. Strickfaden puts the ball into play. Holden back set over to Molstead through the block, and a great dig there by the Eagles. Glanzer finds a way. It's 17, serving 23 for Strickfaden. One of the setters here for the Eagles. Sends it over. Melanie right there to get this one. Sent over to Zembeck, up over the block. Rich there. Oh! Abby Glanzer with a rocket off that left pin. Was right down around that 3-meter line. Strickfaden continues. That looks long, and it is. And the Cougars have a set point here in the first stanza, hoping to pick up where they left off against Superior. And get the first set here would be a huge accomplishment in the Erickson Center to take set one as Sid Peterson sends it over. Wilbur there to pick it up. And confusion on what they were running for the Eagles over to Zerberg, and she finishes the set off. Cougars 25-18. Wow, what a first set here. We'll leave that score up. I need to step away for a moment and collect my thoughts, as it is always chaotic here in the broadcast booth. You are listening to University of Minnesota Morris Cougar Volleyball, a special presentation of the Spoley Brock Sports Network, SBSN 08, the Ocho. We're back again with you here. The music is loud in the Erickson Center, and we did get some stats. We're going to try to get through those for you here. That's awfully nice of them to bring stats up for us here at Northwestern. Always a great hosts here. Cougars taking the first set, and it looks like Morris hitting 235 and Northwestern 081. So that's the story, the tale of the tape, as Peterson sends this first serve long. That'll be a point for the Eagles here in the second set. We'll try and get some, side out percentage for Northwestern 45 and Morris 63. So couple of tails of the tape there that explain the first set win. As this one floats up over Sid Peterson, unable to get a hand on that. That's 2 quick points for Northwestern here in the second set as we are just getting going. Hopefully the stream is hanging in there, at least the audio part of it. I know it's up and down. It's not as good as it has been in the past. Wellbrock sends this over. Wyatt there. And Marliani with the kill. And Northwestern off to a fast 3-0 start here in the second set. Cougars winning the first if you just joined us. Wilbur sends this over. Wellbrock there to pick it up. The slide again. Off the block, and a great use of the block for Mads Monaco. Cougars on the board here. I want to get that one recorded. Mary Kate Zembak at the stripe for the Cougars. The right-hander out of Victoria. Chanhassen High School sends this just wide out of the 5 zone, directly below the broadcast booth here. That is another point for the Eagles as they jump out to a 4-1 lead here. Addison Jenigas for the home team will be at the service stripe. And again, off the top of the tape, so apparently they worked on that in the break. Peterson over to Wellbrock, through the block and down off of Wilbur. Real nice swing there for Laura Wellbrock, the senior out of Northfield. Going to bring Mads Monaco to the service stripe. Senior from Milwaukee. Sends it over to good serve. Moving left to right as we look at it here. Glanzer out of the back row. And the overpass sent down by Anna Egge. 5 serving 2. As Hannah Rich, number 21, comes in for the Eagles to serve early in set 2. Left-hander, the southpaw sends this over. Wellbrock there to get it. Goes back to her, sends it over. Eagles set up. Glanzer up over the block. Peterson is there to cover it. Melanie over to Wellbrock. Picked up by Jenigas. Back to Glanzer, up off the block. Zembek there to cover this one. The on-2 attempt for Peterson is unsuccessful. They're going to try it again here. Cougs reload. Wellbrock, they're having trouble. It's down on the Eagles' side of the net. And that is a point for your Morris Cougars. Going to bring Clara Holden, the Osseo native, in to serve for the Cougars directly opposite of the broadcast booth here. And I will talk a little about why we did not move in this match. And the Cougars there with a good block, unfortunately, just drifted out of zone 6. That's going to bring Marley Ani back to the stripe. So I'm not going to move that camera too much. I think it's in a decent spot. And to wheel around here and change things isn't the easiest. So we're just going to stay put where we're at here tonight. Melanie there with the serve receive over to Wellbrock with a nice swing through the block, down, point Cougs. And they are 1-2 away from tying this thing up. 4 serving 6 for Wellbrock. Right-hander sends it over, and trouble for Glanzer, but picked up by Wilbur directly under us here. And the free ball coming over, an opportunity here for the Cougs. Holden, back set, over to Molstead, down through the block. Jenigas gets it over, and Hannah Rich manages to send this over, much to the delight of the crowd here. Eagles set up. Glanzer looking for a spot. Wellbrock's there to pick this one up. Over to Zembek. Block sends it right back. Cougs reload. Sent over into the campfire for Mary Kate Zembek. What a rally. So good to get those. Cougs in within 1 here. 5 serving 6 for Wellbrock. Sent over. Glanzer has trouble with it. Wilbur, the bump set, back to Abby with a, oh my, they make a great kill out of that. Looked like a busted play. Turns into a point for the Eagles. Strickfaden back in, Ari Schmidt back in for the Eagles. Strickfaden will serve. She is out of Norwood, Young America, west of Lake Minnetonka. Picked up here by the Cougars. And this is going to have to be free balled over. It's an opportunity here for the Eagles to set up the back set. Schmidt looking for line, does not get it. Just wide out of the 5. Cougars back within 1. Melanie Monaco at the stripe, wearing that Libero's jersey, picked up here by Hannah Rich. Out of the back row, Glanzer. That is long out of 5. We'll take it, and we are knotted at Lucky Sevens here in the Erickson Center, the campus of the University of Northwestern. We are thrilled that you are joining us tonight as Wilbur picks up the serve and sent over to Wellbrock there to cover this one. Over to Molstead, and she tools the block. Couple of great swings over there from Anna Molstead here early in the second set. Puts the Cougars up 8-7. Melanie continues good service runs in the first set, and she's continuing that here. Glanzer rejected. It's a Cougar block party. Nine serving 7 for Melanie Monaco. And that one goes off of Anna Molsted's shoulder. I think it surprised her a little bit, as you would not expect to get hit by the serve. And that brings the Eagles back within 1 as Glanzer waits for the go signal, and we are getting it. And Wellbrock steps away from that, and it falls out of zone 6, just long for Glanzer. Cougars back up by 2, 10 serving 8. Sydney Peterson at the stripe. The Lino Lakes native, Centennial High School. Sends over a good serve. Glanzer has to back up to get it. Strickfaden over to Schmidt. Big swing, but picked up nicely here by the Cougs. And this one rejected. I think that was Miranda Wyatt with the block, bringing the Eagles back within 1 here. Michaela Wilbur at the stripe sends it over to her counterpart. There's the slide again, and that's Mads Monaco with a fantastic example of how to execute the slide attack. Finds the spot in the 1 cross court. Point, Cougs 11, serving 9 for Zembeck, who sends over a good serve. Quick gap set. And a block by Mads Monaco sends that back at Marliani. The Cougs up here, 12-9, quieting the Erickson Center crowd for at least the moment. Wilbur there, the back set from Strickfaden over to Schmidt. And that goes off the Cougar defense, and that is a point for Northwestern as Jenigas comes back into the match. And Anna Olson, Jenigas will serve. One of 2 setters here running a 6-2 offense, similar to the Cougs for the Eagles. Peterson over to Wellbrock, up off the block. Glanzer has to go on her knees to get that one, but manages to keep the play alive. But the comeback from the Cougars, Eagles can't handle that one. Point Cougs. 13, serving 10 here. Mads Monaco at the stripe. The senior sends over a good serve again, hits the top of the tape. Glanzer there to get it. And Cougs set up. Wellbrock looking to drop this one behind the block. Eagles pick it up. And that is out as that tickled the antenna for Anna Egge. And that is a point for the Cougs. And again, Coach Wilmeth has seen enough, and they take the timeout. We're going to step away for a moment, let you enjoy the music here in the Erickson Center. right, we're back with you here. Teams coming back on the floor. If you're just joining us, Cougars taking the first set. And they are leading in the second set. 14 serving 10. Glanzer over to Eggy. And great defense there by the Cougars to keep this one alive. Jenigas, and a quick set to the middle there for Ani. O'Leary trying to punch this over. Unsuccessful in doing so against the tall trees there in the front for the Eagles. As Hannah Rich back in to serve for Northwestern. It is 11 serving 14 here. And a good serve, but picked up by Wellbrock. Quick into Tori Shaler. That gap set is successful for the Cougars. 15-11 in the second set. Holden at the stripe for the Cougars. And trouble again on serve receive. The bump set from Wilbur over to Glanzer. Finds a way to score even on an out-of-system ball. Of course, that is the hallmark of a good team. The ability to play out of system and still make something out of it. Abby Glanzer able to do it there. Ani at the stripe. Melanie there to pick this one up. Hand in the bump set. Over to Wellbrook. Up off the block. Trouble. Glanzer couldn't handle it. I think it might have rolled off the tape as well. So point for the Cougs. Wellbrook earns her way to the service stripe. Right-hander sends it over. Wilbur there to pick this one up. Jenigas over to Glanzer. And she feigned, I guess is the word, feigned a cross-court shot, then turned that hand and put that down the line. So point for the Eagles as they narrow the gap to 3 here in the second set. Strickfaden at the stripe, the right-hander directly below our broadcast position here. Wellbrook there to pick this one up. Back set over to Molstead. Pulls the block again. And that is a bread and butter play for Anna Molstead as the Cougs extend their lead here, 17-13. Melanie Monaco at the stripe. Had some great service runs in this match. I hope that does not jinx her as Wilbur sends the free ball over here. Wellbrook over to Holden, and what are we going to call here? We're getting an illegal back row attack when the setter goes up to get that ball. They are above the plane of the net, and with the setter coming out of the back row in a 6-2, that is a violation. Abby Glanzer at the stripe. Let's get my score updated here. Good. Block must have gotten a piece of that. Play continues here. Zembeck looking to use the block. Back set over to Molstead again. Up over the block this time. And the Cougars send this back. Point Morris. 18-14 here in the Erickson Center. As the Cougars are closing in on the red zone here, the Dan Stein Alligator Crocodile and Varmint Removal Service red zone of Higher Lake, Minnesota. Jet Peterson with the serve. Strickfaden over to Ari Schmidt for the kill. Northwestern back to within 3 here. Michaela Wilbur at the stripe. Sends it over. Wellbrook there to pick it up. And Harley Ani with what I think is a throw, but we'll let you decide what you think that is. I think it's a throw. This is a hitting game, not a throwing game, but we'll go with it. And we are not making the calls on the floor here. Wilbur dives into the campfire to keep this one alive for the Eagles. And the swing from the left pin for Hannah Eggy is rejected by the Cougs, and it is, I'm behind on the score again. We'll get that updated for you. 19-16, the Cougs on the verge of entering volleyball's version of the red zone. Eggy there with the pickup, Strickfaden in the backside over to Schmidt, drops it in behind the block. Very shallow at the 4. And Northwestern back within 2 here as Jenigas comes in to serve for the Eagles. Cougars clinging to a 2-point lead here. Jenigas' serve is over. Picked up by Melanie. Over to Wellbrock with a big swing. And immediately picks that back up off the block. Sends it over again. Strickfaden over to Eggy. Monaco there. Peterson. Wellbrock. Monaco. Peterson looking for a spot deep in the 5. Doesn't find it. Eggy. Roll shot over. Picked up by Zembeck. Peterson goes over to Wellbrock. Drops it. They pick it up. Wilbur, Strickfaden down the line. Monaco, Peterson over to O'Leary. The block sends this back. Team is coming back on the floor here. We had to take a little break there during that timeout. Some frenetic action here at the Erickson Center. I hope you're enjoying the broadcast. I know we're a little up and down on our internet signals here, but I have no control over that. So we will just hope that things are working and you're getting a good view. Maybe we'll try to move that camera around a little bit, but there's just a lot going on here, and we're going to stick with the action as well. Broad sends this over, and the Cougs do indeed get into the Dance 9 red zone. 20-18. Something changes in volleyball when you roll over to that 2-0 mark as Mads Monaco looking to kiss that one off the tape, and the tape got in the way. Does not work for Monaco, and the serve will go over here to the Eagles, who now trail by 1. 19 serving 20 for Grace Moravchik. Right-hander sends it over. Zembeck there to pick this one up. Peterson over to Wellbrock looking for a line. Jeniga sticks a hand out, and I think maybe that was off the block, and either way it was going to be a point for the Cougs. 21-19. Holden in for the Cougs to serve. Right-hander sends it not over. Cougs getting snake bit a little bit here by service errors. I know we talk about serving tough, but you also need to get them in. It's a fine line that coaches encourage the players to walk that thin line. This one just in on the back line, right in that 5-6 seam, and we are at blackjack point. It is tied at 21. Marley Ani at the stripe. Right-hander sends it over. Zembeck. The slide again for Shaler. This time Jenigas there to get in the way of this one. Strickfaden the bump set. Sent over by Glanzer. Cook set up here, left side. Wellbrock up over the block. Moravchik there to get it. Push back over. Glanzer the delay. Looked like she was going to attack that. Come up high, stopped, and hung in the air a little bit and dropped it over the block. And that is the first lead, I believe, for, they maybe had a 1-0 lead early in the set. Eagles up 22-21. Ani at the stripe. Almost didn't think that was going to get over. And unfortunately, it does, and it skips off the Cougar serve receive there, and that's going to be a timeout with Coach Susan Guth, and you can hear this place going nuts. All right, we'll give you a little look in here. I'm going to adjust the camera a little bit anyway. I think try and get it in just a little bit tighter here as the Cougs are still on the other side of the net. You see them come out of the huddle there. We'll try and maybe that's a little better right there. I think it just gives you a little more view. Hopefully that's good. 23-21 in favor of the Eagles here in set two. Cougars took set one. Ani at the stripe. Right-hander sends it short. Wellbrock there to pick it up. Shaler sends it over. Quick set there for the Eagles, and the Cougs do a good job to get that right over. Quite over. I thought they were going to get the free ball over there, but catches the tape. Ani will continue at the stripe. It's set point for the Eagles. Let's see what the Cougs can do here. We need a side out in the worst way. Ani sends it over. Zembeck's there to get it. Over to Wellbrock with a big swing off the defense, and they're going to get this over. Nope, they're not. Block sends it back. Recycled point here for Glanzer. He puts that down. We're tied at one, and we're going to step away and take a break. I'm already losing my voice here from the... Well, it's exciting volleyball, I got to tell you that. We're just so thrilled to be able to be here to bring this match to you from the Erickson Center. We're going to step away for a moment. It's 1-1 here. We'll be back with you shortly. This is University of Minnesota Morris Cougar Volleyball on the Spolybrock Sports Network, SBSN 08 We're back again. We got stats here. We're going to try to read a couple of things for you. The biggest thing that stands out to me is for the Cougars, 5 service errors. I think 7 total now to 3 total for Northwestern. So I think that's kind of the key right now as Glanzer sends it over to start the set here, and the slide is back. The Monacos team up to keep this one alive. Over to Zenbeck. Block sends it back. Peterson the on two, but Eagles not fooled on that one. Over to Eggy. Block returns it. They'll recycle here. Glanzer out of the back row. Tips it up over the block. Peterson. Melanie. Over to Zenbeck. And yeah, they're going to late call for contacts. I didn't think that one made it over. And we did not see initially a call. The whistle comes in late on that. Glanzer at the stripe. Sends it over. Zenbeck. Will they get that one? We got to get our scoring back for you here. I'm sure you're wondering what the heck I'm doing on that. We will do that shortly here. Peterson over to O'Leary, who gets the Cougs on the board here. All right. That should be right. Eagles up 2-1. Zenbeck at the stripe. Right-hander sends it over. Glanzer there to get it. Strickfaden over to Eggy. Cougars handle this one. Over to O'Leary on the right side. The block right there. And Eggy teaming up. And that's a point for the Eagles. Michaela Wilbur back at the stripe here. Wellbrock sends this over. Wilbur there to cover it. Strickfaden goes over to Schmidt. Tries to drop it over. Wellbrock gets enough of a hand on it for Monaco. Back to Wellbrock. Finds the spot. Point Cougs. Mads Monaco at the stripe for the Cougars. Right-hander sends it. That's on the line. That is on the line, and a nice call here from the line judge directly below us as the Cougs tie things up here at 3. And a good serve for Mads there. They're going to have to free ball this over, and they are able to do that. Eggy on the free ball. The back set from Peterson. O'Leary punches it up over. Wilbur there to get it. Strickfaden over to Schmidt. And they'll recycle here. Same play, this time dropping it short in the 4. Cougs are there. Wellbrock. Block sends it back. Cougs try again. Wellbrock. Wilbur there to get it. Strickfaden over to Schmidt. Up off of the Cougar block. This continues. What a rally we've got here. O'Leary looking to stop it, and that ball is down. And that is a point for the Cougs, and another incredible rally here in the Erickson Center. Mads Monaco at the stripe. Sends it over. Great serve. Eggy there to cover it. Strickfaden into the gap for Ani. Cougs cover. Wellbrock through the block, down off of Marley Ani and straight to the floor. A nice use of the block for Wellbrock, and that's going to keep Mads at the stripe here as the Cougs now with a 5-3 lead. And a good serve, but just wide out of the 4-5 seam there. I think she's looking for a nice cross-court spot. Just not quite able to catch the line there. And the Eagles back to within 1 here as Addison Jenigas is at the stripe. Wellbrock there picks this one up. Over to Peterson, the back set to O'Leary, and we're getting a antenna call on Lacey O'Leary, and I think that is the right call. Jenigas continue at the stripe. Right-hander sends it over. Wellbrock there to get this one. Peterson, gap set into Shaler. Sent over, picked up there by the Eagles, and a big swing here. Eggy, I think that might have been out, but they keep the play going here. And they drop it short before. Point Eagles. They tie things up here at 5. I guess they're actually 1 ahead. I missed another one there. So Eagles 6-5 now, serving Jenigas at the stripe continues. Zembeck there to pick this one up. Peterson over to Wellbrock, looking line, covered by the Eagles. Nice dig there for Zembeck, pushed over by Glanzer. Back set over to Wellbrock, into the block and off the block and down. And that is another point for the Cougs, and they tie things up here in the third set as we are knotted at 1. If you're just joining us, Cougs held the lead most of that second set. Eagles turning it on when they got into the red zone. Glanzer, Jenigas, roll shot from Eggy is covered by the Cougs. Back set over to Anna Molska, drops this into that Texas-sized hole in the middle of the floor. Point Cougs. 7 serving 6 here for Clara Holden. The right-hander sends it over. Wilbur there to pick it up. Jenigas goes over to Eggy and catches the line deep in the 5, right below our broadcast position here. The Mineral Springs broadcast booth I saw online today. It is 5-year celebration. Bill and Mary Cronin, part of the ownership group there. I did see a picture of Bill on celebrating the 5-year anniversary at the Mineral Springs Brewery in beautiful downtown Owatonna. If you're in the area in Steele County, you're going to want to stop in and check things out there. Ask for Bill, and you're going to get some fantastic adult beverages and some great conversation, perhaps about volleyball. As the left-hander sends this over, this Hannah Rich, the back step pushed over by Shaler. That doesn't get back over the net, and that's a point for the Cougs. That's 8-7 for your Cougars here in the third set. Going to bring Laura Wellbrock to the service stripe. Right-hander sends it over. Wilbur there to pick this one up. Backs up from Jenigas. Over to Anna Olson. Wellbrock there to cover it. Melanie Taylor sends it over on the free ball. Let's see what the Eagles do with this. And they try to swing this hard out of the middle, looking for a spot in the 1. I'm not sure what Ani was thinking there, but that one quite wide out of the UMAC logo. So we'll call that a logo shot for Ani as Wellbrock is at the stripe here. Jenigas goes over to Glanzer. She has to reach back and somehow manages to get a kill out of a ball that was set quite far to the outside of the pin. Great athletic move there for Abby Glanzer to bring that back in. And it is 8 serving 9 for the Eagles. And Marley Ani at the stripe sends it over. Picked up by Melanie. Over to Clara. Anna Molstead with the attempt there. Anna Olson for the Eagles. Over to Zembeck. And the block sends this back. And we are all tied up at 9 here in the third set. Ani at the stripe for the Eagles. Sends it over. Melanie there to get it. Clara goes out to Zembeck on the left pin. Jenigas goes the other way to the right side. Anna Olson just tips this up over the block. And the Eagles back in front here. 10 serving 9 for Ani. Right-hander sends it over. Zembeck there to get it. Back set. Over to Molstead. Not sure that even got over. They don't indicate that it's for contact, so maybe the block got a touch on that. And Northwestern opens up a 2-point lead here. They have not held leads by much more than 2 or 3 at any point in this match. We'll see where things are headed from here. Holden with a good set there, but the connection not made to Shaler, and I wouldn't be surprised to see a timeout here from Coach Susan Gooch. 12 serving 9. Ani continues at the stripe here. Initially going to raise that flag, and then he said, nope, that's in, and I think it's the right call. I think it did catch the stripe, and that will bring the timeout from Coach Susan Guth as the Eagles have opened up a 4-point lead here in the Erickson Center. We'll step away for a moment. You're listening to University of Minnesota Morris Cougar Volleyball on the Spoley Brock Sports Network, SBS NOA, the Ocho. Folks, we're back here with you at the Erickson Center. It is loud in here. I'm hoping you get a flavor for that. It's hard for me to tell if I have all that adjusted right. I can only hope that it's halfway decent for you. We are having a blast in here as Marliani is at the stripe. Zembeck gets this one. Holden over to Molstead, looking for a spot in the one. Picked up, and that one sent back by the Cougs. And they break what had to be about a 4-point run there for the Eagles. Nicely done. Let's bring Melanie Monaco, the Milwaukee native, back to the service stripe. 13 serving 10. Wilbur there to get in the way of this one. Jenny gets quick over to Glanz, who flips it over the net. Bump set from Holden. Zembeck through the block, rolls down. Cougs. And we are back within 2 here. Eagles still clinging to a 2-point lead. We're in the third set. Monaco continues. Wilbur there to get it. Jenigas over to Anna Olsen. Finds the spot way deep in the one. It's going to bring Strickfaden in for the Eagles. Right-hander will put it in play. No, doesn't put it in play. The tape says no. The volleyball gods have spoken for whatever reason. It is 12 serving 14 for Sydney Peterson. And the student section over to our right getting into some silliness, but I don't think Peterson's paying any attention to that. Unfortunately for the Cougs, that's a service error. And the serve will go back over as Coach John Barnes, assistant coach John Barnes, is up giving direction to the Eagles where they want to make some adjustments as Glanzer sends this over. Zembeck there to get it. The backside. Here's the slide again, and it works. Mads Monaco having some great success with that slide attack. Cougars back within 2 here. Zembeck at the stripe, moves over to the left, and again off the tape, and Eggy somehow had the guts to watch that fall right in front of her, and it indeed was just out. So, side out for Northwestern as Michaela Wilbur is at the stripe. Welbrock there with the serve receive, the backs set over to O'Leary and looking for a spot in the 5, doesn't find it, just long. Point Northwestern, and a 4-point lead again for the host team here as Wilbur continues at the stripe. Monaco, Welbrock, the bump set all the way over to O'Leary looking for a spot. She spins this over. Strickfaden quick into the middle. That is a throw. That is a throw. I will tell you, this is a hitting game, not a throwing game. If you want to throw, you play baseball. We're not playing that game here. It is not called. Wilbur continues at the stripe. Monaco, Zembeck the set over to Welbrock, tips up over the blocks. Strickfaden, Wilbur over to Ari Schmidt picked up by the Cougars. O'Leary looking for a spot, but that is wide. That's another timeout for the Cougs as the Eagles have opened up a 6-point lead here. 19-13 on the verge of entering the Dan Stein red zone. We're going to stay with you on this one. Try to find a couple of other stats to give you here. So overall for the match, after the two sets, Cougs doing well. They're hitting 250 to Northwestern's 122. But let's see, the side out percentage in set one, Cougs 63%, 62% in the second. And much better for Northwestern in that second set at 72%. So, some back and forth here, of course, as you'd expect with the match tied at one set each. That is not surprising. Attendance here is listed as 380. I don't know, that looks like it might be about right. I was going to say around 500 because there are a lot of people standing around and some that maybe have come in since we started back up here. Since they may have taken those numbers. Anyhow, it's a good crowd here. It's loud inside the Erickson Center, that's for sure. And we are having a fantastic time here covering this match between these two heavyweight teams here in the Upper Midwest Athletic Conference. Lots on the line here for either team to get a win here and see what the Cougs can do as Madge tries to swipe that off the block. That doesn't work. And O'Leary unable to bring this one back in. And the Eagles have entered the red zone of volleyball. They have 20 points. That leaves them 5 to get the set. It seems to be kind of a magic number to get to first. So a healthy lead here for the Eagles. Wellbrock gets the Wilbur serve here. Down the line, nobody home for the Eagles on that one. Point Cougs. They trim the gap to 6. Monaco. Mads at the stripe. Right below us to the left. Sends it over. Glanzer gets this one. Strickfaden goes over to Ani. To Ari Schmidt. That block sends that back. Point Cougs. Back within 5. Monaco will continue at the stripe. The right-hander skims it off the tape again. Glanzer's there. Over to Eggy. Block again. Tori Shaler sends this one back. Cougs coming back here. Nicely done. 16 serving 20 for Mads Monaco. Right-hander sends over a good serve. Glanzer has to sit down to get that one, and Eggy finds a way. Peterson unable to get that one. And that is 21-16 in favor of the Eagles here. Third set, we're knotted at 1. This is anybody's match. Jenigas at the stripe for the Eagles. Zembeck there to get this one. Peterson quick to Shaler. And what a nice swing for Tori Shaler. Gets that one on the floor in that 5-6 seam in a good spot as Clara Holden comes into the match. Sent over, picked up by Glanzer. Quick into Ani. Block sends it back. They'll reload here. Eggy picked up by Zembeck. Over to Molstead looking for a line. Doesn't find it. No touch call. Oh, she's going to self-call a touch. As Eggy, and he's got it over here, so she didn't need to do that. As the touch is called by the line judge right below us. Either way, it's a point for the Cougs. And I'm a little behind. We'll get you caught up there. It is 18-21. Looking up at the scoreboard here. Cougs serving. Clara Holden sends it over, and that one, wow, that one was 10 feet long. So an unfortunate service error there. 22 now for Northwestern. Cougs not in the red zone yet. At 18, Hannah Rich at the stripe, number 21. left-hander sends this over. Wellbrook there to get it. Goes back to her, and one off the block and down. There's kind of a late call there for the officials. It is a point for the Cougs. Hard for me to tell what side of the net that one came down on because it was so close to the strings. Point Cougs, doesn't matter. Wellbrook sending this over, and trouble. That is an ace for Wellbrook as Hannah Rich is unable to handle that for the Eagles. And that will elicit a timeout from Coach Beth Wilmeth. And we're going to step aside here. Thank you for joining us to listen to the game today. We are excited to be here. We appreciate you out there listening to us. Well, this is a special presentation of the Cougar Sports Network on Foley Brock Sports Network. We're glad to have you with us. We're glad to have Cougar Volleyball with you tonight. Be back shortly. We're back again. And Wellbrook continues at the stripe here. I was behind on the score again. It is 20, serving 22 for Wellbrook. Wilbur there to pick this one up. Jenigas goes over to Glanzer. Cougs get this one out of the back row. Zembeck, and it can't quite fall in. Looking for a spot in the sixth there. And she doesn't find it, and that is a point for Northwestern. And they are 2 away from a third set victory here. Marley Awney at the service stripe for the Eagles. The right-hander sends it over. Melanie there to get it. Close at the net. Are we going to get some kind of a call here? Oh, and we get an illegal block. Still don't know if they make the right call on that, but in any event, that is the call we get, and it is set point for the Eagles. Sent over. Melanie there to get it. A nice swing for Molstead, but comes back over. Zembeck looking to tip up over the block. And miscommunication there for the Cougs, and do it in set number 3 as the Eagles take that one 25-20. And I'm sure we'll get some stats here. Again, they've been just fantastic. They are great hosts here. They put on a great show, does Northwestern. And they've been accommodating for us to have our little spot up here. So we shout out to the staff, athletic staff here at the University of Northwestern for always being great hosts all the years that we've been coming here. I think we've played at least 5 matches here when Laura's been playing. So I think there was 1 playoff game here and of course the 4 regular season games. So always a great show here, and we appreciate the University of Northwestern. All right, we're going to step away for just a moment. We'll have some stats for you shortly. You are listening to University of Minnesota Morris Cougar Volleyball on the Foley Brock Sports Network SBSN 08, the Ocho. We're back again here. Team's back on the floor. We'll try to give you a few stats here. They don't really break out the attack percentages by set, so Cougars have kind of come down from that first set, and they're down to 177. Northwestern has kind of been hanging at the same place. They were 081 in the first set, and they are now at 114. Service errors are standing out. Cougs have 11. Eagles have 4. Kill leaders Wellbrook with 15 and Glanzer with 10. As we're back underway here, Ari Schmidt, and they're getting a net violation on the Cougs. So that is one for the Eagles right out of the gate here. We'll look at some other stats here, but will get you back to the game action. Make sure the camera looks decent. Again, I know the Cougs are on the other side, but we're not going to take the time to move everything to that side. Looking for the slide here again as Mads gives a nice attack there, but the Eagles there even able to pick this one up. Poked through the block by Molstead. Strickfaden over to Ari Schmidt for the kill. Northwestern up to a 2-0 lead here in the fourth set as Wilbur sends this over the libero, and they send this over to Zenbeck down the line. Eagles cover it. Wilbur sends over the free ball. An opportunity here for the Cougars. Quickly to Monaco, but the block sends it back. They'll reload. Zenbeck looking for a spot on the 5-6 seam. Glanzer has to punch it over, and it's not enough gas on that one as that finds the net strings. Cougars are on the board here. 1 serving 2 for Zenbeck. Sent over, picked up there by Wilbur, and miscommunication, but Eggy saves the point there as Wellbrot sends this one over. Wilbur has to fly on the floor to get that one. The back set here over to Eggy, catches the line for Eagles. 3-1 now here in the fourth set. Eagles up 2-1 if you're just joining us. Here at the Erickson Center on the campus of the University of Northwestern in Roseville. Jenigas at the stripe. Melanie Monaco on this one way to the outside, and Wellbrook does a good job to get that back in, but that is a kill from Arliani. Northwestern jumping out here to a 4-1 lead. Jenigas at the stripe, and this one wide out of the 5 zone. Mads Monaco at the stripe for the Cougs. Right-hander from Milwaukee sends this over. Glanzer picks it up, sends it over to Eggy, who drops it in front of the defense. Point Northwestern. And you just feel like they have all of the momentum at the moment. Cougs only a couple of points down here, but it just feels like Northwestern has settled into the game that they want to play here. And we'll take that. That's a service error from Hannah Rich. And that brings the Cougs back to within a couple here. Claire Holden at the stripe, and Glanzer has to go high in the air to get this one. The set goes back to her. She tries dropping it up over the block. Cougs not fooled. Macy Bozard in on the right side there for the Cougs. And this is Anna Olsen swinging down the line for the kill. Marliani at the stripe here. Sent over, picked up by Zenbeck. All the way over to the left end. Wellbrook through the block and down. Hannah Rich making an attempt at that one, unable to bring it back up. Wellbrook with the serve. Picked up by Rich. Jenigas over to Glanzer. Play makes in the air there and gets the kill for the Eagles. They are up 7-4 as Strickfaden comes back into the match here to serve for the Eagles. Right-hander sends it over. Holden back to Zembeck. Block got a piece of that. Strickfaden over to Glanzer. Long out of zone 5, of zone 6, I'm sorry. And that is a point for the Cougars. 5 serving 7 here for Mel Monaco. Oh, just long, and there's a point for the Eagles. Glanzer at the stripe here for Northwestern. Sends it over. Zenbeck there to pick it up. Back set. Over to Bozard looking for a spot. Strickfaden gets in the way of that one. Wilbur sends it over. Holden. Bump set. Over to Zenbeck. Through the block. Lands with a great dig. And again, miscommunication on the side of the Eagles. And that one drops in front of Ari Schmidt. Keeps the Cougs within 2 here in this must-win 4th set. Peterson at the stripe. Right-hander sends it just wide, looking for a spot in that deep 5. Up on the line, and it just drifted out. So point for the Eagles there, and it will be 9 serving 6 for Michaela Wilbur as Welbrock gets this one in the back row. Peterson, the run through bump set. Zenbeck sends it over. Eagles set up here quick in the middle. Peterson with a great dig, and Welbrock, flying into the bench. And she's up, and they're laughing, and I think we're good. Flying into the Cougar bench over there. Okay, she's got the towel. She's back on the floor. Happy to see that. Sorry, the broadcaster goes out the window for a minute, and you're hoping for everything to be okay, and it is. And out of all of that, a service error for. Well, now I'm all messed up here. Okay, we're going to get this straight. It is 10-7 in favor of the Eagles. Apologies here for momentary lapse of concentration as Strickfaden sends this to Schmidt. He sends it long out of the 1-6 seam. Cougs back within 2 here. Mary Kate Zembeck at the stripe for the Cougs. Right-hander sends it over. Wilbur there to pick it up. And through the block and down in the middle for Marley Awney. Jenigas and Olsen come back into the match, replacing Strickfaden and Ari Schmidt. Jenigas will have the serve here as Northwestern is up 11-8. Melanie Monaco over to Welbrock, who's unable to bring that one back over from the left pin. Northwestern now back to a 4-point lead here. Jenigas will continue at the service stripe. Good serve, but picked up there by Welbrock. Peterson sends it back to Laura. Block sends it back to the Cougars. Northwestern with a 13-8 lead has prompts Coach Susan Guth to call the timeout, and we will step away briefly. We'll be back with you. You're listening to University of Minnesota Morris Cougar Volleyball on the Spolybrock Sports Network, SBSN 888. Back with you here. We are in the Erickson Center, campus of the University of Northwestern. Eagles up 2-1, but that is a coach's point for Coach Susan Guth as Jenigas throws it in the net coming out of the timeout. We're happy with that as Cougar fans here, and that's going to bring Mads Monaco up to the stripe, and unfortunately she returns the favor on the service error. So the teams exchanging points here. Northwestern maintaining a 5-point lead here as Hannah Rich will come through the service stripe for the Eagles. Rich sends this over. Wellbrock there to pick it up. Peterson in the back set over to Molstead with a big swing. Are they looking for any touch? And nothing is called. That one wide and long as the ball boy just below us almost tripped on that and sent himself to the floor. Northwestern up 15-9, and Rich continues at the stripe. Left-hander sends it over. Wellbrock there to pick it up. Peterson quick the gap set over to Shaler. Zembeck back set here to Molstead. Does not get over the net. Point Northwestern, and they are starting to open up a little bit of a gap here. The Eagles 16 serving 9 in the fourth set. Cougars won the first, lost the next two sets. Looking to hang in this match and a must-win fourth. Zembeck, Peterson, over to Wellbrock, up over the block. Almost thought that touched the antenna, but I guess nothing is called there. Monaco over to Molstead. Block sends it back. Northwestern, and they are getting perilously close to running away with the set here, unfortunately, in the fourth. With a good serve, Wellbrock there to get it. Monaco keeps it alive. Wellbrock's going to roll this over and gets a kill. I think Glanzer thought that was going to head out of the sideline, and it did not. So point for the Cougs. They get themselves into double digits here. At 10 serving 17 for Clara Holden, the Osseo native. Looks over for service direction from Coach Susan Guth. The right-hander will put the ball into play here. Rich there to pick it up. Jenigas has to run back. The bump set over to Glanzer. What will she do with it? Zembeck there to get it. Wellbrock looking cross court. Over to Glanzer. Up off the tape and out. Wellbrock again flies into the student section. And they seem to applaud her efforts there. I'm not sure that's what it is, but we'll go with that. Unfortunately, it's a point for Northwestern, and they are 18 serving 10 here for Marley Awney. The right-hander from New Brighton puts it in play, and Wellbrock is going to be able to bring this one over. No. Northwestern slowly taking control of the set here at 19-10. There'll be a timeout for the Cougs. We'll stay with you here. Perilous times for your Morris Cougars. Perilous times for your broadcaster's voice. I hope I'm coming through okay. I hope it's been a reasonable broadcast. I know the internet keeps bouncing around here, so I know it isn't great, but I hope you've had some fun joining us. We really wanted to broadcast this match, partially because of the great view and location where we can put the camera here, and also because of the great hosts that we have here. Again, mentioned that they actually bring stats up to us, which is fantastic. I didn't ask for that. They just noticed that we were doing a broadcast from up here. They've been very good hosts, always helpful. Want to know if you need anything. And I have to give another shout out to the athletic staff here at the University of Northwestern for being great hosts for us here. So much appreciated. We're back on the floor here. Eagles are back. Feeling like their old selves here at 19-10, fourth set. Awney continues at the stripe for the Eagles. Right-hander puts it over. Wellbrock's there. Over to Shaler on the slide, but Glanzer followed her all the way and sent that one straight back to the floor. Great blocking for Abby Glanzer on that one, as the Eagles have worked their way into the Dan Stein red zone here at the Erickson Center. Serve to Wellbrock, back to her, up over the block. No, block sends it back. Combination of Anna Olson and Miranda Wyatt send that one back. And 21-10 Eagles in this do or die fourth set here for the Cougs. Shaler knocks this over. Jenigas to Wyatt. Back set. Bozard. Good swing there. Finds the spot. Gets that into the campfire. And Anna Olson unable to bring it back. So back into the match for the Eagles. Willa Wilbur Wellbrock at the service stripe for the Cougars, and a good serve there. Glanzer there to pick it up, though. Jenigas goes to the right side. Anna Olson tools the block. 22-11 in favor of the Eagles. Strickfaden back in. Ari Schmidt back in. Strickfaden will serve here for the Eagles. Cougs down to the last few points here. If they're going to make a run, they need to do it now. The back set here over to Macy Bozard, and a fantastic swing there for the Nebraska native as she puts that on the floor. She has a different arm swing that I think has thrown off the Eagles a little bit here. And that was a very nice swing for Bozard, finding the floor for a kill as Monaco sends this over. And over to Bozard again. Again tools the block. She's got a couple of really nice swings from that right side, and there's some life on the Morris side here. Late in the fourth set, they need to keep this running for quite a while if they're going to get back into this. Mel Monaco, and that hung on the tape, bounced twice, and fell back on the Cougs side. 23-13 for Abby Glanzer. The Brandon, South Dakota native will put the ball into play here as Zembeck is there. Pushed back to her. Mary Kate Zembeck block sends it back. Cougs are going to have to reload here. Back to Bozard. They're going to try that again. And a nice attack. Glanzer there to get this one, though. Over to Eggy. Drops it into the campfire. And looked like somebody should be in the net. The net is bouncing up and down, but we're not going to get any kind of call. And it is match point, set point, and match point here as the student section for Northwestern up. Zembeck back set over to Bozard, and that's going to do it. That's going to do it. From the Erickson Center. We'll stay with you here a little bit, see if we get some more stats. I guess my basic summary of the match was the Cougars just really nice to see them come out and really take the match by the neck right away and get that first set. That's so important to do. Get out to a good lead, hang on to it, get a set in the books. It's unfortunate that they couldn't keep it going, but I really like to see that rather than playing from behind all the time. They came out firing and got a nice lead and kept it and got that first set. And I think set the Eagles back a little bit on their heels. They maintained that control into the second set, but then little by little, your Eagles started to take over. You could just feel the momentum, not all at once, but slowly shift as you see the teams coming out to midcourt here. We'll zoom in on that a little bit for you. They do their normal prayer circle here at Northwestern, so we'll look in at that. And take that field mic down a little. I'd sure appreciate any feedback anybody's got as to whether or not that worked better tonight. Trying something different again. Always got to try something different every time and see what comes out of it. So hopefully you had a good experience here. We really wanted to do this match. It's always such a great show here. And we're getting down to the end here, of course, for our daughter and her career. Laura has had 4 fantastic years here at the University of Minnesota Morris, and I really hate to see it end. And anybody who has somebody playing any sport knows exactly what I'm talking about. You know it has to end at some point. You just don't want to see that day come, especially when they love the sport so much and want to keep on going. But we have had a great run here, and we've also had some fun along the way with doing things like this. So I'll shout out to a few people here. Thank you to Becky Welbrock again for helping me schlep gear into the arena here. We drag in, I think, a couple hundred pounds of equipment to do this, mostly in batteries, but so it is. So I appreciate her help as we see the Eagles here. The Cougars have left the court for the moment. And I want to again thank a shout out to both schools, Morris for letting me do this stuff, having fun with it. Always been very supportive of that. And also again to Northwestern for being fantastic hosts here. So always good stuff. I don't think I have a whole lot more for you. Cougars' next match will be tomorrow at 1 o'clock at North Central, which is downtown U. They are in the just south of downtown. They're not far from U.S. Bank Stadium tomorrow in the Elliott Park neighborhood of Minneapolis. So we will be there. That could be a tough match. NCU having a pretty good season. So the Cougs need to bounce back quick here from this one and, be able to get a win that they need to have tomorrow. And then we'll see where this whole playoff setup lands us. I think at the moment we are probably headed back to the North Country to play the Yellow Jackets of the University of Wisconsin Superior, but we'll see how that all matches out. So I think with that, I'm going to wrap it up. And also a thanks to Mike Splodoro, my broadcast counterpart. I know his daughter Audrey is having a fantastic season at St. Ben's. We wish them the best of luck. They have senior night tomorrow night. So shout out to Mike for all his assistance. We often visit and bounce ideas off each other about what we ought to be doing next and whether or not things are working and different technical issues and all that sort of stuff. So that's always great fun. We've had a great run with this. We've been doing this since 2019. We survived the pandemic and kept going and have had so much fun with this. I just can't say enough good things about Spoley Brock Sports Network. We do run a lean operation. There's only 2 of us, so you have to excuse when we don't always get things right. But it sure has been a ton of fun. So with that, we're going to sign off here. It's a 3-1 victory for the University of Northwestern over your University of Minnesota Morris Cougars, who fought valiantly. Wish you a good night. If you're driving, drive home safe. We appreciate you joining us here. This has been a special presentation of University of Minnesota Morris Cougar Volleyball on the Spoley Brock Sports Network, SBSN 08 The Ocho. Have a good evening.